May I have your attention, please? Will the real Diesel please stand up? I repeat, will the real Diesel please stand up? Guess who's back? Back again. Diesel's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Hey guys, thank you all so much for tuning in to Diesel Plays Arc. I've not been around for some time because I was really caught up with something else. But the channel, or no, the channel has always been there. What are you talking about, Diesel? I am back. Today we are going to explore the Paracer versus the Bronto. We're not gonna put up that. Speaking too fast as usual. We're not gonna put them up 1v1 or 10v10 or 100 versus 100, guys. We are going to do Diesel Plays Arc style, and we are going to explore them in terms of their stats and what they really compare against each other, because both of them are actually siege dinos. And before we start, to all my subscribers, you guys are amazing. Keep it up, keep the subscribing, commenting, and every single thing that you guys have been doing. Just keep it up, guys. It's really awesome. I've not been posting videos, but I really like the comments and everything else that has been happening. So let's get to it, guys. Let's start out with the platform saddles. The maximum allowable structures on the Bronto saddle is 64 and 32 for the Paracer. I did a small sprint test to check out their speeds. The Bronto took 24 seconds, the same distance the Paracer took 13 seconds, which means to say the Paracer is 1.8 times faster than the Bronto. So, who is the better climber, the Paracer or the Bronto? To be honest, both of them came out equal when it came to climbing steep mountains. And the reason why I actually place this in is because sometimes you have to bring your siege dinos over a mountain or a difficult terrain to PvP a different base. So something really funny was that half of the Bronto just got missing into the mountain, which was a glitch, but other than that, both of them actually had the same climbing ability. Turning radius. Most of y'all will actually think that the Paracer has a better turning radius. You are right if you take the size into consideration, but if you compare the size of the Bronto versus the Paracer and you take that into account in accordance to their size, you know what, their turning radius, it's about the same. Sometimes when you want to raid somebody, you'll have to cross a water body, so I had to check out the swimming speed of the Paracer and the Bronto. So the Paracer with oxygen of 525 was placed against a Bronto of an oxygen of 480, so that I can actually calculate the amount of time they actually take to go the same distance underwater. So the Paracer came up at 1 minute and 15 seconds and the Bronto came up at 1 minute and 20 seconds. If you do the math, you'll actually realize on the baseline that the Paracer's and the Bronto's swimming speed is pretty similar, or is actually exactly the same. So to further prove this point, I actually pumped in one stat into the Paracer and the Bronto's oxygen stats and realized that one stat pumped simply shaved off 5 seconds of the same distance. The other interesting thing about the Paracer is that if your head of the dino is above water, he tends not to use any oxygen if he is on the move. If he is stationary and if his head is still above the water, he tends to lose oxygen, equally the same as him being fully submerged. When it comes to that aspect, the Bronto is different. Whether he is on the move, he is above the water, underwater, or even not moving, as long as he is on the water or in the water per se, he will start losing oxygen as well as stamina. In terms of melee damage, the Bronto does 0.6 damage for 1% base melee damage and the Paracer 0.45. A stat increase in the melee damage gives the Bronto 1.02 times the last melee damage, and similarly for the Paracer. So if we do simple calculation, we'll actually realize that the Bronto's melee damage is always going to be 1.3 times more than that of the Paracer. In terms of stat increment, the only difference between the Bronto and the Paracer is for their health. The Bronto has a slightly lesser of a stat increment as compared to the Paracer, 1.04 to 1.05. Don't ask me why I placed the paw there, guys. I just found it cute. So I found out something interesting, guys. The dyno will weigh 20, which just is platform saddle on. If you mount it as a rider, it doesn't gain any weight and the weight will be the same. However, once you dismount the dyno as a rider but remain on the dyno, the weight tends to increase to 49.8. So to really see if the weight of the survivor is 29.8, I even went and did a mind wipe to reduce my weight to 100. And guess what, guys? The weight of the survivor is 29.8. Another interesting thing I actually found out about a platform saddle is that with installations such as structures, turrets, smithies, storage boxes, the weight doesn't seem to increase. It tends to only increase if you are on the dyno holding on to those items in your inventory. Once it's actually installed on the dyno's platform saddle, the weight tends to remain the same for the dyno. And the weight only tends to actually increase when you have items placed into the storage boxes or the smithy. So I tested it out with the Paracer and the results were exactly the same. Alright guys, so this is my final take on this. The Bronto is naturally tankier and he can hold more structures and deals more damage, but he is kind of slow. And the Paracer is slightly better in terms of health increment, although it's pretty negligible, 1.04 with 1.05, but he is actually faster and does better in the water. So you know what, it depends on your playstyle, whether you really want to go for the tankier Bronto or you want to go for the more nimble Paracer. My personal take on this, or Diesel's favorite on this, is that I would like to go for the Paracer instead of the Bronto because of two simple reasons. I prefer speed, and another one more thing I really like about it is that the Paracer is smaller than the Bronto. And you know what, in terms of size, when it is you hiding in those shades of green there, I think it's better to have a Paracer as compared to a Bronto's head sticking out. If you know what I mean. Alright guys, thank you all so much for tuning in to Diesel Plays Ark, and if you really liked the video, leave your comments behind, likes behind, and also remember to double smash the subscribe button, which means to say smash the subscribe button and also the bell beside the subscribe button so that you guys get a notification when I actually post. So thank you guys. See you guys till next time. Take care and goodbye.